They know you're not an actual wizard,
Yeah.
you know? So,
I mean, I don't know about your grandparents.
Yeah.
My grandparents believe I'm an actual wizard.
they're hoping.
They're hoping. Welcome back to another Penguin Magic Top 10 video. My name is Eric Tate. I'm the host of the Penguin Magic Podcast, and I'm joined today by Sean Dunn. Thanks for joining me, Sean.
Yeah.
I am very excited for this topic because I did not know that we were going to do this, but when you pitched it, I was like, yeah, 100% our customers need to know about this. We're talking about top 10 magic tricks for grandparents.
Cool. Well, my grandparents really love the fact that I'm a magician. They think it's hilarious.
I was going to say, there are some people who are probably clicking on this right now thinking like, oh, magic for grandparents to perform, but no, this is magic to perform for your grandparents.
Yeah, and there is actually, now that I think about it, there's actually a book by Alan Kronzek called Grandpa Magic.
That is right.
Yeah.
We should state right off the bat, Alan Kronzek is a friend of Penguin Magic. He's got some products coming out with us, and I think he already has some products with us, and he wrote a really great book called Grandpa Magic. So if you clicked on this looking for tricks to perform for your grandchildren, you're in the wrong place. Go check out Alan Kronzek's Magic for Grandparents book. It's excellent. We are here to talk about magic to perform for the grandparents. So grandparents, minimize this because we don't want you to spoil the surprise. Sean, what do you look for when you're going to perform magic for your grandparents?
Well, so I think people make the mistake of thinking about someone's age or their stereotypes or whatever.
Yeah, like trying to do like a too simple trick because
Yeah,
grandma's too old, but actually she's
Right.
probably pretty hip and with it and is put those sponge balls away, Sonny Jim. Let's get some real hardcore stuff.
So when someone has lived a life, a long life, and most likely especially if it's your grandparents, they know you're not an actual wizard. You know. So.
I don't know about your grandparents. My grandparents believe I'm an actual wizard.
They're hoping.
They're hoping. All right.
But with so they know you're not, you have magical powers or whatever. So my experience being mysterious is just not going to be good. And so I like things that involve stories that are kind of fun and things that are over the top and things that where we can just all laugh at the fact that like there's somebody doing magic.
I feel like what you're driving at is like you don't want to patronize them. You don't because you don't want to. I really like the idea of not being mysterious and just like really going to be fun. I think like the jerks would call it like casual magic, like true casual magic, like not something that's going to fit in a formal show. Something that's just going to be like we would do with our buddies, but in this case, we're doing it for our grandparents.
Yeah, and respecting the magic too.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of people, there's a new breed of magicians that are getting into magic that are not yet comfortable with the fact that they're a magician.
Yeah.
Where it's like they need to almost insult it, even though they really love it. You know? But people love magic.
Absolutely.
So it's something to be proud of. So I think it's good to recognize, like, do something that's very strong. So
let's hit it. Let's get into it.
So the first thing, which kind of doesn't go around those that description, but I do like to teach and perform a memory demonstration.
Okay.
Because I've noticed that you're able to give them an actual power that they may actually think that they're losing.
Oh, it's interesting. You're talking. We started this off by saying like we wanted something that was like fun and casual, but like that's actually a very powerful thing for someone who may be getting a little older and having sort of what people call senior moments where where they're having trouble with their memory, which happens to all of us.
Yeah, and you really do give them an experience where they're left with like, oh, okay, well maybe I'm not that bad. And maybe sometimes just having the confidence of knowing that is all it takes to actually
Number 10 as a memory demonstration is great. Is there any particular memory demonstration that you like to perform?
From Corinda, the Lisk, the basic mnemonic system, and then I think the best, if you want to do it as a professional, there's two versions. One is Richard Osselin. He does
the breakthrough memory system.
Not that one.
Okay.
He does it where he has people name a list of 20 things, but then he goes into great detail.
And I think this is on his like Mental Mysteries DVDs or something like that, which are available on Penguin. You just hunt up really hunt up anything by Richard Osselin.
Yeah, and then I actually teach one of my lecture that does it more of a mind reading style effect.
Oh yeah, that's a really good memory demonstration that you do teach, and I remember watching that lecture and really liking it. You should check out Sean Dunn's Penguin Live. It's a good lecture.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's professional, but it is a routine that you can do on stage.
All right, memory demonstration. It's a really solid 10. Give me number 9.
So I like, for the magic I perform for my grandparents and often her friends who also happen to be grandparents as well.
Yeah.
Is magic that has some sort of silly story. And I think Triumph is great for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
because Triumph is one of those ones that like you can really apply a lot of different stuff to it. Like crazy things can happen as you're telling a story and the cards are getting mixed together, face up and face down. It's really good. Is there a particular Triumph that you like to use?
Well, the traditional one, or probably the most common one learned on Easy to Master card magic.
The Vernon Triumph.
Yeah, the one we all learned.
Yeah,
it's
in Easy to Master Miracles. I think also Penguin carries a copy of the Stars of Magic, which is where it's printed, and it's not. It's gone through a couple of different updates, and so it's a soft cover now. But it's been redone. The photos look a little bit better. But if you haven't learned Triumph, the original version of Triumph, you should definitely learn it from the Stars of Magic and go check that out because it's a phenomenal book. There's an ace cutting routine in there that I actually do in my show that I love.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Triumph is a great one to apply a silly story to.
It's one of those books that. I've never read it, but I tell people to read it all the time.
It's a super duper good book.
Yeah,
great material in there. Let's keep this moving though. Like I like where this is going. So we've given them a power with a memory demonstration. We've told them a silly story with a Triumph. What's number 8?
Well, it's making the list again, which is just the standard Out of This World, or any version of Out of This World.
Oh yeah, Out of This World is another one that like. That's sort of in the same theme as the memory demonstration of like giving them a power. Yeah. It's really good, especially the one, I know the one that you're probably going to say if I said, what is your go-to Out of This World? You're probably going to say Dunn's Deal.
Yeah, that's right. And probably the recent one that I put out, which is different than Done Deal. Yeah. It has an extra S. Yeah. For more mystery. But yeah, that one's great because they shuffle everything and it looks as close to the real definition that I first read about in David Blaine's book. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I sometimes forget that the place that I also learned the original version of Out of This World was was David Blaine's book, Stranger. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that got me into magic because I read about it and he was talking about Winston Churchill. Yeah. Who you're like, well, if you're fooling Winston Churchill, man, that must be really. It's got to be a good trick. Yeah. 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 Okay. Out of This World. I mean, I know that you're a big fan of Out of This World, but it is a really solid trick. I like doing it too. I've got a few different handlings of it. Let's keep moving up the list to number 7. Well, the ultimate trick, I think, for all ages, is card Toon. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Dan Harlan's card Toon. Yeah. A version of it fooled Penn and Teller. I used to sell it at magic shops back in the day. If you've never seen card Toon, tell them about what happens in card Toon, Sean. It's so good. Well, it's a little cartoon finds a thought of card. Yeah. And that's what's people forget. The first part of it is why it's so strong. Not that it's a cool revelation, which it is. But they literally look at any card, and they don't touch a card. I mean, they're not. It is as clean as it gets. So it's as strong as any mentalism effect. It's super good with cards. Yeah. But then it ends by being like super silly and fun, and you can't help but like laugh at it. And it's like one of those things that even if someone has a really tough exterior, they see that, they're like, oh.
I think another really strong thing about Toon is that, like, you know, it's one of those things that you don't want to repeat it instantly, but you can do it again for your grandparents or really anyone, especially like I was a bar magician back in the day. And this is actually back when Dan Harlan and I met living in Los Angeles. We worked at the same magic place, a place called Magicopolis, and we sold Toon in the magic shop, and we always kept Toon behind the bar because it's such a good trick, and people would come in and people would come in to the bar and say, hey, do that trick with the Toon again. Like, they would almost say the name of the trick. And and we could do it, and they would be like, I got it again! Like, it's an amazing trick.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic trick for your grandparents.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you were in a magic competition, right? Would you enter that competition if you knew the guy that was behind you, or the person behind you was doing Toon? You might not, because it's like, well, I'll probably lose.
Yeah, it's a strong effect. Let's keep this going. I like these are great tricks, Sean. Give me number 6.
Number 6 is the first big thing that I ever worked on in the magic industry with Paul Harris, and I choose this trick because it has a lot of tension that builds, and it makes people uncomfortable. Depending on how you perform it. Anyway, I'll get to the point. It is Flow by Dan Hawes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So
yeah, Flow is great.
Like, your grandparents, or anybody's grandparents, they love you, and they trust you, but I don't know if they trust you well enough to put a bottle over their head, even though they know that, I mean, it's just great. It's a very uncomfortable moment.
It's interesting because it's one of those, like, high stakes at the same time it's still low stakes, because the worst thing that happens is you get wet, right? Like, nobody gets hurt. It's not like anything gets ruined or anything like that because it's just a bottle of water, but I also don't want someone dumping a bottle of water on my head.
Right,
so
right.
It's Dan House's Flow is great.
Yeah, and then it has a method that you're like, how did you think of that? Like, what were you doing to make you think of this? It's just so crazy.
I think that's so often about Dan House, which is like, what were you thinking that made you come up with this? I love it.
Yeah, he's got the crazy good methods.
It's so good. Yeah, that's definitely one. You don't even need to hold it over their head. Just the idea of turning a bottle of water over in front of your grandparents and then taking your hand away for them to go, oh, is fantastic. Give me number 5.
Number 5 is just a poker demonstration, and I actually prefer 10-card poker deal.
No, I can get on board with that.
Yeah, it's just simple, and like I said, you can build a story around it, and people love poker.
I know my granddad played both poker and bridge late into life, and so he was super on board with poker demonstrations because it was definitely something that he could identify with. Like, some of the magic that I perform in my regular professional repertoire, my grandfather like appreciated, but he didn't like connect with it the way he did a card game based magic trick. Yeah. And so I totally understand. Is there a particular 10-card poker deal that you like?
Well, I like the Bannon one.
Oh yeah, the John Power of Poker by John Bannon is a super good download. It's almost self-working. Yeah. And John has really figured out all the different ways around it. Super good.
It kind of became the 10-card poker.
Yeah, I mean, and it was originally printed in one of his books. I think it was an Impossibilia. I may be wrong on that. I'm sure that there will be a big graphic flashing right below me if I was wrong about that, but I do know that Power of Poker is a download on Penguin Magic. And it's well worth it because John covers some updated stuff that was not in the original print. So if you're into that trick, or even if you already own it and want to learn some other updated handlings, definitely check out Power of Poker.
Everything John has is amazing.
All of stuff all of John's stuff is great. Yeah. Let's move on to number 4. Let's get number 4.
Number 4 is the and I don't know where this trick came from. The modern way that people perform card to mouth with ambitious card sequence.
Yes.
The Brownie reversal add-on or whatever. Not the reversal, but the add-on. Do you know where it came from?
Are you talking about the version where the folded card ends up in your mouth?
No, where you have them push it into the fan, and then while they're pushing it in,
this is another one where it could come flashing underneath my face that I am 100% wrong, but I think that there is a version of the card to mouth in Expert Card Technique.
What's great about that trick is that it has phases, and you can challenge them, or you got to follow. I'm doing it very slowly, you know, and it's still when they look up, they see that it's
a silly trick.
Yeah, it's so good.
All right, let's keep this train going. Move number 3.
Well, if we had to do a top 10 list of all tricks, this would probably end up at 3 or above, which is double cross. I mean, it's the best trick ever.
Double cross is infuriatingly good. I work a lot of corporate events, and I always carry double cross with me, and I do some really dynamite magic. And at the end of the night, all anyone can talk about is those stupid little X's on everybody's hand.
Yeah, it is. It's performer proof, right? Yeah. So it doesn't matter how. I mean. It breaks a rule of magic. Like it does not matter if you're bad, as long as you do it correct. I mean, get it accomplished, right? Without getting caught. You're the greatest magician in the world. I mean, I hate it for that reason.
It's irritatingly good as how good it is. If you're not doing double cross, there's something wrong with you. I don't feel bad. Hit this video with a thumbs up if you're out there doing double cross. I want to find out how many of you are out there doing double cross now.
I have a friend that is like, he kind of got depressed because he was relying on that too much.
I remember
doing other stuff, and then he was just like, man.
I remember when Nick Lacapo got sad because he was doing double cross so much.
I know. He just relies on it way too much.
Let's move on to number 2.
Number 2 is Haunted by Peter Egging.
Yeah, Peter Egging.
Haunted 2.0.
Haunted 2.0.
Yeah. Just a self-contained gimmick that does pretty much all the work for you, but
it's a really, really interesting haunted deck routine that does all the work, which is cool because there's a lot of haunted deck routines out there that you need to get involved with, and they may work, they may not work sometimes. You might break a thread. You might.
There's some difficulties in annoying setups, but this one doesn't have any of that. And it just kind of works on its own, and it looks as though it's like a mechanic or an electronic thing and super expensive, but no, it's like $30 and you got it with you.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like Peter is really good at coming up with those like clever solutions that make it easy for people to do just dynamite magic. All right. I feel Haunted's a great choice, but now we're all wondering. I think we've all been wondering this entire time. What is Sean Dunn's number 1 trick to perform for grandparents?
Well, this probably no one that knows me would ever expect this, but paper balls over the head.
Of course, paper balls over the head. It's silly, it's interactive, they can get in on the fun, especially when you have that reveal when they turn around and there's just paper everywhere.
And here's the thing, grandparents, right, always have Kleenex handy.
You know, I never thought about it that way, Sean, but you're right. They've always got Kleenex handy.
So it's there, boom, and you're doing it. And I am just, this is only personal experience, but my grandfather has a recliner that he sits in, and it's just perfect to do that kind of a trick. And
it's great too because recliners are usually in a corner, so you don't have to clean up.
Yeah,
it's just you can just like let them build up and build up and build up.
That's probably what he does with the
if you search paper balls over the head in Penguin Magic, you will find a bunch of really great routines. I know there's definitely been some people who've taught it on the Penguin Live.
Yeah, there's one really good one in the Penguin Live that will probably throw up.
We'll put in the description
yeah.
a good link to the Penguin Live. You know, we talk about so much magic in these top 10s that sometimes it all gets jumbled together. But that was fantastic. Sean, thanks so much for sharing with us this top 10 list of magic to perform for your grandparents. This is, of course, just Sean's list. If there's any magic that you perform for your grandparents that they especially love, be sure to let us know in the comments. We want to know. We do read those, and we value your feedback. And if there's anything that didn't make this list that you think should, let us know. If there's anything on this list that you think you should never perform for a grandparent, let Sean know. As always, be sure to like and subscribe so that you can come up, so you'll get notifications for all of the other top 10 videos that we put out. Thanks for Sean for joining us. My name is Eric Tate, and on behalf of everyone else here at the P3 Magic Studios, we'll see you next time.